It's Amanchu. Welcome to Minecraft Bedrock versus Java, where I play through both versions of the game and compare them. Last time I made a wool farm in both Bedrock Edition and Java Edition, which worked more or less the same way, with more or less the same design. And today, as you can see from the time-lapse video, I'm going to make a pumpkin and melon automatic farm. It will use a lot of the same redstone components as the wool farm in the previous video, so you might want to look at that previous video to see a description of how some of that redstone works. The farm in Java Edition is kind of a tight space, so it's hard to get a good overall look at what it is, but let me go into Bedrock Edition and show you exactly how it's made. So here I am in my Bedrock Edition world, and I've already laid out the footprint for where I want the pumpkin melon farm to go. You can see the minecart running on this track here. The dark oak that I have laid out here is the actual footprint for where the cropland is going to be. And it has to be 8 blocks wide. It can be as long as you want it, really, as long as it's an even number of blocks, so that you can have this kind of pattern to the rails that the hopper minecart goes on for collecting everything. One important factor to consider is the orientation of it. This side track here needs to be off on the south or east side. So looking at the map here, I'm facing south. I have this side track off on the south side of the farm. The reason for that is when it comes down to here, this T-junction here, the minecart is going to turn either left or right. It will actually turn to the south or to the east, depending on which direction it's coming from. So it comes down this way and then turns south and comes off on the side track. The collection system here that stops the hopper minecart to unload everything is the same design I use for the wool farm in Bedrock Edition. And the Java Edition version is going to look a little differently, but I'll show you that later. I already showed you that in the last video anyway. We have a hopper here that's going to feed into the chest, and then powered rail here where the minecart will stop. A comparator here that will sense through this block. It will sense if there's anything in that hopper. And while there's anything in that hopper, the comparator outputs redstone power to this block, which turns off that torch, and then will turn off power to this powered rail. So just to demonstrate that, I know I've demonstrated this before. I'll dump some stuff out here, and it gets picked up. And you'll see this turn on. Redstone torch turns off, and that stops the minecart until it's done unloading into the chest. And then it goes on again. Now I've attached this chest to a chain of hoppers here that leads over here. And I have some more chests going down here to collect all the stuff, just so that I have room, because this melon and pumpkin farm is going to make a lot of pumpkins and melons. Like, a lot. But I can just cover this up for now. Alright, so I got the bottom of it done. What I'm going to use for this is I'm going to use observers to detect when the pumpkins or melons grow. And I'm going to use pistons to break the melons or pumpkins. So pistons will push blocks, but when a piston tries to push a pumpkin or melon, it will actually break the block. The cropland that I have laid out, again, I said it has to be 8 blocks wide, and I've made it 10 blocks long, so it's 8 by 10. I need 40 observers and 40 pistons for this. And I'm going to start by placing the observers. To place the observers, I need to make a temporary platform. The cropland will be on this level. I'm going to make a temporary platform above that, so I have something to put the observers on. Oh, one other thing about this track I forgot to mention. You can see the dark out here that represents where the footprint of the cropland is. And you see I have this track going outside of that. The reason for that is I found in the Java Edition version of this farm, and it's probably true in Bedrock as well, I haven't really tested it though, when the minecart zips around this 180 degree turn really quick, it goes so fast that it sometimes fails to pick up items from the very edge of the farm. So by putting this corner outside of the edge of the farm, then it's not going to be zipping around that corner where there are things for it to pick up. It won't miss any drops that way. Alright, looks like the platform is done. Now, I'm going to put observers facing down, if I can, there we go, every other space. Okay. Now I can break this temporary platform. And then between all of these observers, I place pistons facing down. Okay. Now I have this checkerboard pattern of observers and pistons up there. On top of every observer, I'm going to put a solid block. And then on top of all the pistons, redstone dust. Okay. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a little light up here. Perfect. Now what's going to happen is anytime any of these observers detects some update to the block it's looking at, it's going to activate all of the pistons around it. Now I'm going to want to place down the cropland. But I also need to put down a staircase there. I think I'll have a staircase like 4 blocks apart. Yeah, 5 apart, right about there. Now I can waterlog those stairs, and those waterlogged stairs will hydrate the cropland. I put those on each side. You can see I have those waterlogged stairs, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted this cropland to be 8 blocks wide and no wider, because these waterlogged staircases on the outside of the farm are going to be able to hydrate all of the cropland inside of it. If it was any wider, I might have to put some waterlogged block in the middle of the farmland. Everywhere I see an observer above, I will hoe the ground. Now, when I plant the pumpkin seed and when I bone meal it to grow the stalk, you see what I'm talking about. All the adjacent pistons will fire. When this stalk grows, what did I just plant? A melon. When this stalk grows a melon, it will show up on one of these blocks to the side, and the stalk will bend toward the melon. That change in the stalk will be detected by the observer, and it will fire the pistons and break the melon. There's a row of pumpkins now. There's a row of melons, now a row of pumpkins. Looks like I missed one. There we go. Looks like I missed that one too. I can always wait for them to grow up, but this is a little easier. Alright. I'm almost there. There's just a couple more things to do. The pistons and the observers, I'm pretty sure they block light. And so these solid blocks that are above some of them definitely do. So, in any case, this is indoors anyway. I need to light this up better. The crops, in order to grow, need a light level of at least 9. So around the outside, I'm going to use these shroom lights. It's just a big solid block that provides light level 15. There's another reason why I wanted the farm to be only 8 blocks wide, so that I could have lights on the outside that would still light up the interior well enough for the crops to grow. I'm just kind of spamming lights right now, and not being that scientific about it, but maybe 4 blocks apart is good. With glass blocks in between, so that the entire farm is closed off and none of the drops, the pumpkins and melon slices, are going to fall outside the farm. That way the hopper minecart is sure to pick everything up. And that's it. It's now finished and fully functional. I could do some things to try and dress this up a little bit, but this is done. Just a little bit concerned about this redstone dust here. It prevents me from putting a block here to completely block off the farm. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, it doesn't look like much yet. But before long, I should have a really full inventory. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I have a lot of chickens. I know. I gotta do something about them at some point. Anyway, how's the wool farm doing? Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. I'm never gonna use all that wool, and there's more coming. Now, with these 2 farms complete, this is gonna give me a lot of resources. I still have another farm in mind to make, but I still have to figure out how I'm gonna make this look pretty, because redstone looks ugly. Let's just face it. Big redstone builds like this always tend to look ugly. I'll have to figure out some way to beautify it. But I'll show you the Java Edition version also. It's the same 8x10 footprint, but obviously the hopper collection system is slightly different. And just really quick, in the Java Edition world, this is the sheep farm that I built last time, and down a couple floors, here is the melon and pumpkin farm. It is fit into a very tight spot. I don't think I do need to do much to dress this up, but over here is the collection system. As you can see, it's different from the Bedrock Edition version. In the last video where I made the wool farm, I went into more detail about how that works. I don't think I need to do much to dress this up. It's in a very tight space, but the floor below, I have the chests feeding all the stuff out. You see, I've accumulated quite a bit. If you made it this far in the video and you like what you saw, click on the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. I think I'm going to continue with making farms like this, except maybe a farm that involves some kind of animal next time on Amon Chooses Minecraft Java vs. Bedrock.